evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chamber of the Wraith. My name is Brian, and today we're going to talk about, in this brand new series, everybody's most controversial character on their minds, one way or the other. That's right, it's fucking Twindel. But here's the thing about this so-called Sindel. First off, I don't acknowledge her as the real Sindel. Let's just get that clear. I've said it about half a dozen times, at least, at this point. But honestly, they shouldn't have. They really fucking should not have. However, there are things that we can talk about with Sindel in regards to changes that I would like to see. And the very first one I would like to see is actually more of a broad change that I've wanted to see since Mortal Kombat X. And, well, since Injustice 2, rather, since Mortal Kombat X kinda had this, but they never really went anywhere with it and never touched it since Injustice 2. I want to see dialogue options for each and every character in the game. And here's how I would see it. You would go into cosmetics, and you would go under, maybe it's a new tab or something at the bottom. We'll call it dialogue choices. Evil Sindel or good Sindel. Done. And all intros involving Sindel will be of that variety when you fight somebody. Shao Kahn. Pre-conquering? Or pre-finding out that he gets his ass kicked? Post-finding out he gets his ass kicked. Johnny Cage, he can have multiple. We have, for instance, old Johnny Cage, young Johnny Cage, Revenant Johnny Cage, a Black Dragon Johnny Cage. You know what I mean? There's multiple options you could have that would socket and fit in really nicely for every single character in Mortal Kombat 11, and this would make me play Sindel because it would let me play as good Sindel, which is infinitely a better character than Twindel. And if it allows me to play Sindel over Twindel, and as a bonus, it wouldn't change gameplay, it would just change what intros you get. Which, I mean, sometimes gets skipped anyway, but for a personal thing, that would be amazing. Now that we have that general thing out of the way, let's talk about things that should not have been banned. Because if we go into gear moves, there is actually a move that Sindel has that right now is banned that I don't think should be. Enhanced Regal Presence. This allows Sindel's Regal Presence to be followed up with several attacks. Now, there's a change I could see where you can... there's a change I can see working that would allow this particular attack to be used in Combat League. Because right now, the farthest I can tell, the only attack that could possibly be making Enhanced Regal Presence be a problem is the explosion loops in the corner. And essentially there's an option for Sindel to do a launching AoE. Now there's two easy ways to fix that. You can have it so that after only two of these, or even one of these, you knock the opponent to the ground. And alternately, the other option is allow it to never be able to combo unless you spend a meter to drop down quickly, like Kitana's air fans, but these would actually let you combo. That would be what I would gun for. And as for other abilities, the only other thing I can think of is make Bellowing Banshee safe. Because it's a big air attack and she flips back, so we make this safe to save herself in the air. It kind of makes sense. Now let's talk about attacks. Now let's talk about things that we could do to Sindel as far as balance changes go. There aren't going to be all that many, but there should be enough to at least warrant something of a video about. And I think it's best that we start here with Warped Memories.
Sub-Zero.
Oh, I forgot to pick a stage. Alright, so Twindel is widely regarded as a bit of a funky character in that she's kind of slow. A lot of her attacks aren't particularly quick. She has fairly high but not overly high damage. Especially since she doesn't really have any combo extenders that she could do mid-combo. But she does have a native launcher that is safe, which is really good. And she has mix. She has mixing options. But the thing is that Twindel is also a fairly unsafe character. Minus 15 on block. Minus 20 on flawless block, which I think, if it's not flawless... Oh, it's still minus 20. Minus 15. This is safe at minus 8, but here's the thing. Flawless block gap leaves her minus 13. Why is that a flawless block gap? I really don't know. And all of the rest of her buttons are unsafe as all holy hell. And especially in a variation where she has has overhead mix-ups, which I don't have in this particular variation, but we'll roll with that for a second. Why is it that she has, like, her only safe option can be flawless blocked? I don't understand out of that. Might just be an aura thing, but whatevs. So, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about right here. And it, and yes, it launches. But here's the thing. If you hold up, you only get 2. One. You really only get 2 and it scales. So this, I think, would be totally fine. As far as making this move banned. I really don't think it should have been banned. I don't even know why... Can that even crushing blow? Hold on. No, it can't. And at least give her some zoning that isn't this. Or, rather, this. Which is a really good projectile to be sure, but more keep-away options would be welcome for Twindel, in my opinion, because that's one of her biggest weaknesses, is that she doesn't actually do all that well from range. So covering for that would make her a really nice character to utilize. One thing that I think should also happen is that I think main squeeze should get a crushing blow for either breaking armor or for landing this attack 3 times without missing. And if you land this, it could go into a wall bounce interaction. Now, this is a unique sort of thing that we really have only seen in Injustice, where the opponent bounces back, bounces off of a wall, and gets a combo. But if this crushing blow for that would be a really neat and unique way to get a one-time combo starter that does really good damage. And as for any other changes I'd like to see, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, at least in terms of changes in moveset. I think other than fixing that flawless block gap and a couple of other things that I mentioned, Twindel is probably just fine, if not more than fine. But there is one thing I think we could warrant having a look at with Twindel in terms of abilities and moves and all of that. So, with Twindel, she has a myriad of attacks that have already worked out rather well. Also, by the way, I would make haircut not 2 slots because, yes, it starts combos, but it's not that great. If it was safe, we could talk about it. Enhanced Regal Presence gives you a whole bunch of options out of it, so it being worth 2 slots makes sense, but it shouldn't have been banned. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? But a lot of Sindel's abilities are really good and don't really need to be touched. But if there is one thing I think would be, if there's a couple of things I could suggest for things to add to abilities, is I would suggest making Air Deadly Echo knock opponents down as an overhead. If you hit them with the purple scream, otherwise nothing else changes. Make Haircut a single slot. Unban Regal Presence, whether that means changing the burst or honestly not. And perhaps giving her a new ability where... which allows her to buff her screams in terms of range. So she buffs herself, and then her scream gets the range of a normal Amplify scream. And if you amplify that... Hello, Black Canary. But that's all I can think of for Sindel. I know this is a lot shorter than Shao Kahn, but that's because Shao Kahn needs a lot more love than Sindel does. I'll tell you that much right now. Sorry, Twindel. Oh, and the voice additional things would be really, really sweet. So, don't forget to be awesome. I'll see you guys on the other side. And I think for the next episode, why don't we do Rambo?